Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Get Woke with Danielle Moodie. All right, y'all. OMG.
Oh my God.
Okay, that is the phrase for this episode. Because let me tell you something. I already know that you all watched Democracy-ish yesterday live. And if you are not watching that show, it is live with my friend and fave nerd avenger, Wajahat Ali, live 12 p.m. Eastern every Friday. But let me tell you, I know that this conversation is going to stay percolating for the weekend, for the next week, and so on and so forth, because MAGAville is inundated with motherfucking sex scandals galore. And at the center of one of them is a man that I have been talking about for quite some time, which is Representative Matt Gaetz. So what broke on Thursday night? Well, or early Friday morning, Matt Gaetz, who was last year involved, being investigated by the Department of Justice for potentially having a relationship with a 17-year-old whom he brought across state lines for sex and what have you. Matt Gaetz has also been investigated for payment, right, for sex with young girls. Okay. So what drops, right, is this article right here, where Matt Gaetz, Lord Jesus, these Republicans, I'm telling you, the way that they talk about the LGBTQ community, the way that they talk about unmarried people, the way that they talk, thou doth protest too much, okay? So he found himself at a lobbyist friend of his by the name of, let me just make sure that Chris Dorworth, right? He finds himself at his friend's house where he is with a 17-year-old underage girl. There are tons of drugs, ecstasy, marijuana, cocaine, alcohol involved. The 17-year-old girl is naked. And there is an encouragement for sexual activities to take place. Why is this coming back to light, and why are there more receipts? Well, because Chris Dorworth apparently wasn't paying his legal fees. And so the lawyers whom are expecting pay filed lawsuit, and they opened up this treasure trove. The question that I have, friends, though, is this. Anybody know where the fuck Merrick Garland is? No, seriously. Anyone? Because Merrick Garland's sloth-like Department of Justice decided to drop their investigation into Matt Gaetz. And my question is, why? Because everything that Merrick Garland does is centered around politics. It has nothing to do with justice, because there is no fucking reason why Matt Gaetz hasn't been indicted. And the fact that this man remains a sitting member of Congress with voting power is beyond me. But I pray that this is but now maybe the second or third domino to fall that will begin the cascade, okay? So that's sex scandal number one. Number two, we find out that, RFK Jr. apparently was in a relationship with New York Magazine Washington correspondent Olivia Nuzzi. Lord Jesus, I don't even want to get into the age disparity because I'm not an ageist, but ew. Here's the thing. Olivia, the Washington correspondent, was working on the presidential campaign trail, was interviewing Robert Kennedy Jr., and, developed a relationship with him and then decided to continue writing and not disclose said information to her bosses. And so now she's on leave. while there is an investigation that is opened. And I just love this so much. Amani Gandhi tweeted and said, there is a tweet for every occasion. And here is the occasion. Olivia Nuzzi deciding in 2015 to write an article that not all female reporters sleep with their sources. Didn't age well at all. Sex scandal number 3 would go to the one and only governor, candidate for governor. Lord Jesus, you really can't make this shit up. Mark Robinson. So Mark Robinson not only calls himself a Black Nazi, has an affinity for trans porn, while hating LGBTQ people and saying that they're filth. His email address is associated with the salacious site Ashley Madison. If you have not seen that Netflix documentary, I highly recommend, because scandal upon scandal. If you remember, Ashley Madison was the site that was created so that married people could find other married people to cheat with, so that there would be mutual things at risk if the relationship went down, because they don't want their marriages to end, but they're not sexually satisfied. That when that place was hacked, it ended the careers of a lot of people, including Governor Eliot Spitzer at the time, who was the governor of New York. Nonetheless, Mark Robinson is not stepping down. And by the way, Republicans knew all of this hot shit, Black Nazi, white supremacist, because you don't have to be white to be a white supremacist and support white supremacy. Let us all know that. They were fine with that. They were fine with the homophobia. They were fine with the transphobia. Now they're trying to distance themselves because of his sordid sexual proclivities. I have no idea. But yeah, that's your man now, y'all. And you're going to carry him to term. So we'll keep an eye on that North Carolina race, my friends, because that man, Mark Robinson, is a treasure. Let me say that again. A treasure trove of fuckery. Okay. Let me just close out with this today. 2 quick things. 1, Donald Trump is already planting the seeds for him to lose the election. And he has already decided who he's going to blame that loss on. Take a listen.
Honestly, you ought to have your heads examined. You ought to have your heads examined. And those votes may be necessary for us to win. I say us to win because we're in this together. But who are these people? Who are the 60% that would vote? And I really believe that bad things, very bad things are going to happen. And I'll put it to you very simply and as gently as I can. I wasn't treated properly by the voters who happen to be Jewish. I don't know, do they know what the hell is happening? If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60% of the people are voting for the enemy.
Yeah, you heard that right. You don't need to clean out the wax in your ears. Maybe you want to run it back a couple of times, but he has decided to place the blame, if he loses, on Jewish people, and then begin to say that bad things will happen. Yikes. Okay? Everything that he says, believe him the first time. But I want to close out today with some just Black girl magic goodness. Some applause for what I'm going to be calling the Woke Woman of the Week award. This is your Woke Woman of the Week. Take a listen to one of my favorite representatives taking 2025 authors, Project 2025 authors, to task.
only reason we're having this hearing is because somebody got their feelings hurt in a debate. And I don't understand why we're wasting taxpayer dollars. Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will become the next president of the United States. Nevertheless, while we do have two amazing authors from Project 2025, which it seems like everybody got the memo. Like, yes, I'm going to double down and say it's my thing, but I'm going to make sure I also say that it ain't our homeboys thing, because we know that it doesn't poll very well with the American people, because the American people are woke enough to recognize that there is nothing good in it for them. So with that being said, Ms. Perryman, I'm just curious, and this is yes or no. Is Trump's name ever mentioned in Project 2025? Yes or no? Just yes or no. I got you. I got you. Okay. 5 times.
I haven't counted.
Oh, okay. Well, if I told you that his name is mentioned approximately 312 times, would you have any reason to dispute that?
I don't have any reason.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's interesting that we want to try to pretend. We're not going to pretend in here. We're going to work with facts and not fiction. So I also want to talk about inflation really quickly with you, Ms. Perryman, because we've talked about it a lot. I'm just curious to know, is the inflation that we just struggled through, was that global or was that limited to the United States? Global. Seemingly, it was attached to this thing called the global pandemic. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just the United States.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't just a matter of the Biden-Harris administration in the United States is struggling, right?
I think the United States actually fared better than the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we are, correct?
I think so, yeah.
All right, but inflation still hurts, and so that's why we have a candidate that has an actual plan instead of concepts of a plan.
Gorgeous. Representative Jasmine Crockett, you are my woke woman of the week. You are brilliant. You are sharp. You just can, melt the faces off these people and call their bullshit out in the most elegant, eloquent fashion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, friends, I'm going to get out of here. That is it for me on this episode of Get Woke with Danielle Moodie. If you are liking this show and you are loving the channel, please subscribe, and like and comment. We are growing something fabulous here, and I'm so glad you all have arrived. And if you like this shirt here, then head over to daniellemoodie.com and get yourself a little t-shirt or sweatshirt as we head into cozy fall weather from my The Future is Woke capsule collection. As always, dear friends, power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke.